Good morning, councillors. Welcome to the Environmental and Community Services Committee meeting. We do not have a chair this morning. Councillor Alison McPhee is an apology. So the first item of business will be to elect a chair from amongst the voting members. So Councillor Clout and Councillor McGill and Councillor Stolz, you are voting members. If you'd like to nominate amongst yourselves or identify a councillor who's willing to chair. Councillor McGill, yes. Okay, that's everyone in agreement. I'll call for a seconder so we can do this properly. Councillor McGill's nominated himself. Anyone wish to second that? Councillor Clout, all in favour? Carried. Thank you, Councillor McGill. If you can come up and chair.
Thank you, Mr. General Manager, and welcome to the Community Services and Environment Committee on this day. Where are we up to? The 9th?
10th.
The 10th of December. To attend the meeting by video link.
Nil, Mr. Chair.
Are there any apologies?
Yes, just Councillor McPhee.
Do we receive that? Or?
Yes, you'll need somebody to move and second the.
Thank you. All those in favour? Declare it carried. Did the recorders get those moved and seconded? Thank you. Disclosures of interest. Are there any disclosures?
Nil received.
Thank you. Public participation.
Yes, the proponent for item 12.1 will be speaking. Mr. Pringle has the details.
What order did you gentlemen wish to speak? Thank you. Then I call on Mr. Paul McLean. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Let them know they've got 5 minutes.
And you've got 5 minutes, and your topic of choice is the development of the service station at Aberdeen.
Thank you. Point committee members. Speak to you today is the board of proposed development of a service station and takeaway food and drink premises at Queen Street, Aberdeen. This includes significant improvements to the existing supermarket and retail tenancies within the site, providing a significantly improved experience for the residents of Aberdeen. In response to the report prepared by council staff recommending refusal of the application, we would urge the committee to seek approval of the application.
1 minute.
It is advised that a condition could be added to the consent to limit the total number of seats in either the food and drink premise or the area adjoining the existing tenancies where this is considered to be necessary. In respect of the truck circulation plan, we've confirmed that we've tested a vehicle parked at the Bowser and trucks can be passed that, no issue as well. And we can circulate that as necessary. So on the basis of this information, including proponents' willingness to change the opening hours, we respectfully request the committee recommend approval of the application. Alternatively, deferral of the application to allow for further consultation between ourselves and council staff would be an acceptable outcome, particularly where the issue is raised in the council report and not been previously raised over the course of the assessment. Thank you for your time. I welcome any questions you have on this proposal.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Yes, councillor Fraser.
In relation to the opening hours proposal, is that in relation to the whole of site, or is that just in relation to particular businesses engaged on the site?
24-hour operation and relative to the service station and premises. Oh. You could all be, sorry, I didn't realise there was no live pictures for the audio.
Hang on. Voice pretty well.
Sorry.
Sorry, in answer to your question, the 24-hour operation was relative to only the service station and the 24-hour food and drink premises. So the supermarket's opening hours was not intended to be altered as part of this application. So for clarity, the suggestion of removing the 24-hour operation is only relative to the service station and food and drink premises.
So the effect of, explain it to me like I'm simple. The operating hours for the whole of site are going to be 5 AM to 9 PM. Is that correct?
Yeah. In that range. So it may be that the supermarket is not open at 5 AM. The bakery probably will be, but yeah. So yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Sorry, Councillor Sherbs.
Councillor Sherbs.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm going to ask a question. Can I ask a question? Because I'm not actually a member of the committee, but I am a.
You can ask questions, but you can't vote.
I am a resident of Aberdeen. From my understanding of what I've seen, all entrance and egress from this site is via Perth Street.
No, not all entrance and exit. So we went through a very extensive process with Transport for New South Wales in coming to an agreement on what they were willing to accept for egress and ingress to the site, which has resulted in the allowance of a left in, left out directly from McQueen Street. And that process took, I'm sure the council staff will be able to tell you as well, 12 months, pretty much.
So all of these diagrams that became part of what I got last week are essentially inaccurate. Is that what you're telling me?
No, it may just be that in the package of information that's in the council report, it may not be entirely clear of the access arrangements, because we have separate roadworks plans, quite detailed roadworks plans that I don't think may have made maybe in the package of information there, because that spells out what we need to do in McQueen Street. So from like road widening and line marking and things like that. And that plan there doesn't actually, it's too blown up, so we can't actually see. Oh, okay, so here, so we've got a whole heap of detail on what happens in this part here. It's on a separate plan. Had to be a separate plan because it had to be signed off by Transport for New South Wales.
So the principal entrance will be off the New England Highway and Perth is just a secondary entrance, or is that going to be principal?
Well, I'm not sure if you could go as far as to say there's one principal entry because you're going to have people coming from both directions. So there's certainly been a change of the application over time, and there is more, I guess, more movements to happen off Perth Street, because the idea there was that Transport for New South Wales wanted to have more movements happening there, so we didn't get situations of extra queuing and things like that happening in McQueen Street or Transport for New South Wales their main objective is to minimise the queuing and delays for the cars along McQueen Street. So because I think there's sort of, I think for the most part, it'll depend on, which direction you're coming and which part you want to go to as well. So if you were just going to go to the service station, you probably would turn right at Perth Street. But if you're going to the supermarket, you would use the other entrance point.
And in respect of traffic travelling north and turning right off the New England Highway, will there be turning lanes, or is it everyone for themselves?
It's turning lanes.
There is a turning
it's
lane.
all quite detailed plans. Like, to satisfy Transport for New South Wales, we're probably up to like the 8th or 9th revision of plans. So it was quite detailed. Yeah.
Yes, Councillor Shields.
I want to express my concern that the information that's been provided, and even your explanation there, if you look at where the Bowsers are located on that and where the building for the proposed fast food restaurant is, I can't see how you can enter off McQueen Street / the New England Highway directly to that, and then exit if you're travelling south, and then exit back onto the New England Highway. And reading through the documents that we got and the objections from local residents, I think I can see exactly why they object.
So, sorry, what was your concern? Was people travelling south?
Well, I would have thought, given that you're on the southbound side of the New England Highway, now I don't know how you do your studies, but I would have thought that that's where you believe the majority of your business is going to come from, people travelling south. Anyway, let's not go there. I don't understand why. Well, coming south, you have to turn left into Perth Street, and then right into the service station. Now, depending on what you do, you fill up your car, you go to the restaurant, you then have to do essentially a U-turn and exit back out into Perth Street.
No, you don't. No. So that's Perth Street up the top. So if you fill up here, then you can come down here, and then you can exit at this point, back onto McQueen Street.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So this has not been closed up. This is, I guess you would say there's a current access here. It's informal in a sense, but this is still remaining. And this will be, you'll definitely be able to come out of the site there. Definitely be able to come into the site here as well. So if you didn't have to fill up, you would not necessarily go into Perth Street. You would just you would travel along McQueen, and then you would turn into, because if you want to go to the supermarket, you want to park here. So this is currently a dirt. Yeah. Does that help? So
it provides a little bit of clarity. Thank you.
Thank you.
And in Perth Street, there's a current existing avenue of trees, so you'll be taking some of them out, I presume.
No, there's no, I don't recall there being trees on that side of the road.
Go ahead, photo.
I'm sorry, I did drive past this morning, but. So if we were to remove street trees, then there would be conditions around having to replace them or compensated replanting that we'd be happy to do.
Councillor Cloud, any questions?
Thank you.
And Mr. Singh, I believe you wish to speak as well, please.
Most of the things are clear by.
If you don't wish to speak, we can.
Yeah, because all I say is very much clear things. If you need, or you want to speak, I can speak few things about that.
You've applied to speak. If you wish to take the opportunity,
no.
please do.
Thank you very much, all the committee, to give me the opportunity to speak about that once. As a developer, my main thing is I'm investing in the community, and I'm trying to do more things in the Aberdeen. That's the main things. All technical things already speak by Paul. That's the things I'm gonna speak on. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
That concludes public participation. Site inspections. Nil. Business items. We now get to consideration of item 12.1, development application for a service station takeaway food premises and alterations at Aberdeen. We have before us a recommendation. Does anyone wish to move that recommendation at this point?
Move with an amendment that, subject to conditions such as we discussed, that it's not open 24 hours, that we approve this development.
Thank you, Councillor Stoltz.
Only to say that I think the entry and exits have been covered, and that it would be, obviously, while it would be undesirable to have this as a 24-hour petrol station, it's obviously going to be much better as a supermarket. The precinct will definitely be a benefit. There's always complaints about the potholes in Valley Fair, so this will obviously remove those. I think while there may be some issues, as long as we follow some of the conditions of consent that have been set down, especially the main one being the 24-hour thing, if it's not going to be 24 hours, then this seems like it could be a good benefit for Aberdeen.
Does anyone wish to speak against? Seconder, do you wish to speak?
I just want to echo Councillor Clout's comments. Yeah, 24 hours. Obviously, you know, we've seen the complaints and the acoustic side of things. Yeah, I think it's great for the community, and providing it's 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Would be beneficial to the community.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else wish to speak at this stage? Councillor Fraser.
I'm not a voting member of this committee. However, the proposal seems to me to be eminently sensible, particularly given the reduction in operational hours. I think it will be an asset to Aberdeen. I think it will improve the streetscape as you travel through Aberdeen. I think it will be a net benefit to Aberdeen, and I commend the project to my fellow councillors.
Thank you, Councillor Fraser. Mr. Pringle.
Mr. Chair, if I can just make a few comments. Look, we support the proposal in principle. However, obviously there's a few issues that we're trying to sort out here, and we welcome the applicant's proposed change to reduce the hours from 24/7. However, there's still a couple of unresolved issues that I think we need to look at first. One is stormwater in particular. We have concerns that the stormwater system that this development flows into may not have the capacity to take the water. So that's something that needs to be addressed. And we have asked for that, I believe, some information on that hasn't been forthcoming. So I think we really need to ensure that our stormwater network can take the flows. Otherwise, you potentially end up with, you'll have localised flooding in a major storm event and water potentially flowing into neighbouring properties. So I know it's hard to believe it's on top of a hill. However, there's going to be a lot of hard stand area with this development within the car park and so forth. So I think that's something that needs to be looked at. The other concern that we had was in relation to truck movements. There are some truck parking bays on this site, so you will get trucks pulling into the site, into Perth Street. And I think that's one of the concerns that the objectors or the neighbours had, was the impacts from these truck movements. And there's also potential traffic conflict within the site. So with trucks, car movements and pedestrians. So we had some safety concerns in relation to that as well. But if the trucks, if those truck parking bays could be removed, I think that would address those concerns. The other issues that were raised in the assessment were obviously the noise, potential noise impacts and amenity impacts. However, I believe that with the reduction in hours, those concerns have been addressed. But I think the main thing that we need to have a look at first before council makes its decision on this is the stormwater system. We certainly don't want a situation where water's flowing into neighbouring properties.
As mover, are you inclined to amend?
So if we amended it to make it conditional, a condition of consent has to be that the stormwater issue is resolved to council satisfaction, or do we just defer it?
I think, Mr. Chair, the easiest solution would be you've indicated you want to see this development proceed. To do so, you defer it to the next meeting so that staff can bring back a solution to the issues that have been addressed. The applicant's already given you some solutions, which is the time constraints. I think to address Mr. Pringle's issues around stormwater, we can bring back some conditions. The concern with approving it now is you'll be writing conditions on the run, and I just think that will potentially lead to an issue. Let's get it right and bring it back. You've already indicated your intent to try and get this across the line, so I think we can do it properly.
Okay, so can I change it to defer?
As a second, are you happy with that? So everyone's happy now? Thank you. We'll put that resolution that this item be deferred to the next meeting, and the council will come back with reports on drainage and hours of operation. Everyone's happy with that? So moved, seconded. I'll put it. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried. Thank you. Item 12.2, draft community participation plan for 2024. Did you wish to speak to that, Mr. Pringle?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is basically an update of our current community participation plan to bring it into line with the legislation that has been updated since the original plan was developed. It's fairly straightforward, I think. The proposal is to endorse the draft document and place the document on public exhibition for 28 days. And if no submissions are received, then the plan would be adopted. If submissions are received, obviously we'll bring that back to the committee.
Can I have a resolution to do exactly that, please?
Moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? For or against? No. Intend to put it. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried. Thank you. Item 12.3, development application for a shed. This is the one out at Bunnan, isn't it?
Nandara Road. Let's go this one, Mr.
Oh,
Chair.
sorry. Anyone wish to move the recommendation or?
Moved.
So moved. Any discussion? My only comment is that suddenly we've got two people trying to build closer to the boundary than possibly the planning allows for. When next time we review the planning, we might look at that as an issue, because exceptions are never fun. All right, all those in favour of approving that shed? Declare it carried. Thank you. And we're off to development application for a rural shed and lot consolidation. That is the Bunnan one. Yes. It appears from the report there that topography is the enemy, and they've consolidated two blocks so that they can get a flat bit of land to put a shed on. The way the recommendation is written, I would pedantically say it's back to front. We should approve the consolidation first, then we approve the shed. So if we reverse that resolution, that would be the case.
Yep, noted, Mr Chair, thank you. But, yeah, both have to be done. Yep.
Pedantry is a hobby of mine. So, having said that, if the recorders can reverse that resolution, so that the first item in the resolution is to actually approve the consolidation, and the second item is to approve the actual shed. And if we're happy with that, can I have a mover of that, please?
Moved.
Do you wish to speak? Seconder, any discussion? No discussion. I intend to put it. All those in favour? Against, declared it carried. Thank you very much. I think I found a full stop. That'd be the end of the meeting. Unless there's any other business anyone wants to throw up, that is the business of the meeting as published. That being the case, I declare the meeting 7. Thank you for your attendance.